guys, how's everyone? Back at it once again for a brand new video for you, and welcome to episode 20 of our MotoGP 15 career mode Dre plays. And this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Me in the MotoGP class with my own private team. We're on the Yamaha M1, and I bet you can't wait for me to get started. So, I've taken your feedback on board. There's going to be some changes to this series. Race length will now be 35%, so it's going to be a longer race. We're going to have qualifying and the race as well, and we're going to keep the simulation. You're going to keep the. We're going to keep the race. So you're going to keep the everything else basically. Don't know why I started so much saying that, to be honest with you, but okay, this is it. Qualifying and the race. This is going to be the most in-depth I've ever done a MotoGP series. I'm just only hoping I've got the skill to be able to pull this shit off, basically. One can only hope. But yeah, let's go to our very first opening round race.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Losail circuit in Qatar. And as I talk to you now, the first qualifying session is getting underway. And at the end of this, we'll know the names of the two riders who will make it through to the second round of qualifying.
Okay, for those not aware of how a MotoGP qualifying session works, they changed the format around last year, or a couple of years ago now actually. Here's how it works. Practice now actually matters in MotoGP. At the end of practice 3, because you know, it's like Formula 1 practice, you get the free practice sessions first. At the end of practice 3, the top 10 fastest times on the riders posted them go straight through to the second half of qualifying. If you are not part of that top 10, you enter Quali 1. This is Quali 1. Basically, what happens is that in Quali 1, the 2 fastest riders in the session go through to Quali 2 with the other 10 riders that were fastest in the practice sessions. Then you have a 15-minute top 12 shootout for pole position. Got it? Good. At least I hope so. It's a bit of a complicated system, but it does actually work in that regard, because it actually somehow automatically makes practice actually mean something. People actually tune in for practice 3. It's crazy. Also, here we've got 3 leftover data packs we didn't use from the end of last season. They do actually carry over, funnily enough, which is nice to see. And because of the nature of Qatar, I'm going to burn all of them on the engine so we can get a level 1 engine right from the start. You'll see why, given the nature of the track. So, let's have a look at the board real quick. Yoni Hernandez, let me set the time here, but the guys that are in the session are Hernandez, Paul Espargaro in Q1, yeesh. Reddin, Vinales, Baz, Miller, Bradle, Hayden, Barbara, Abraham, Lavity, the Meglio, De Angelis, Bautista, and Melandri. You'll tend to see the Aprilias, mostly the open class runners, and maybe the occasional satellite in here, depending on how certain things fall. Right, I'm now going to head on the track, and I'm going to give you a quick rundown of Qatar in general. Okay, here's Qatar. I'm not normally this in-depth, and I'm trying to set a lap at the same time, but bear with me. But Qatar is one of the fastest tracks we go to, and this is one of the longest and fastest straights on the calendar. You'll be hitting close to 215 miles an hour by the time you enter this first braking zone. Down from 6th into second gear, about 60 miles an hour for turn 1. This is actually, the thing is, if you ever want to learn how to play this game properly, whoops, this is actually a pretty good place to start, because Qatar isn't that technical. It's very straightforward. There's a lot of medium length straights between the corners. You don't have to work very hard around here. It's very easy just to power slide it around and be quite quick. Quite a slow first gear hairpin here. Very easy to kick the back out like I just did there. But is this actually a pretty fun track in the context of bikes? But like I said, still quite quick. There's a lot more technical and slower tracks on the calendar. But I actually do quite like Qatar in general. I love this little bit where you kick out here and you're leaning in. You're still hard on the throttle. They're coming towards 170 miles an hour. This is the fastest part of the track right here as well. This triple right-hander that's coming up. You can really make a lot of time on this bit if you get your line right. You can drift it quite nicely. If you're willing to take a gamble like Marquez, you can make maybe 3 or 4 in that section. Another left-hander here. Whoa! Got a back wheel on the curb there. Whoa, whoa, whoa. But as you see, very easy to get the back out and whatnot. Last corner here again. Second corner, get the run right, and it's tighter than you think it is. And then you can punch it on the way out, and it's a long run down to the start-finish straight. If you've got a faster bike in a straight line, you can benefit quite nicely. But across the line, that's a 156.4. I think that should be more than good enough to go through to Q2, given I was 1.5 seconds faster. So let's see. Let's return to the pit and see how that works out. Yeah, 1.5 seconds faster than Maverick. That should be... Oh, hang on. That wasn't quite as straightforward as I thought it was going to be. Pol Espargaro was within 3 tenths. Johnny Hernandez in pretty close, but... Oh, Maverick had improved slightly, but no, it's going to be me and Pol Espargaro going through to Q2.
Now are the lap times from the first qualifying session. Remember, the fastest 2 riders have now earned a place in the second qualifier, and that will be starting any minute now.
Okay, so we're going through to Q2 alongside Pol Espargaro. That wasn't my best lap. I know for a fact there's a good bit of speed in there still left to be found. So, I'm quietly confident that in Q2 I'll get the hang of it. The funny thing is that I've not actually ridden these development style MotoGP bikes in the game yet, so I'm still learning myself, really. But yeah, let's go to Q2 and let's try and nail it and try and get on the pole. Still think there was a bit of time left on the table on that one. What was the time? 1:55.5. I don't know how I feel about that. I got a feeling I might have to go out again. Joseph's first lap was 1.1 seconds slower. It's close to the lap record, which is a 55.1. Lorenzo's only a 10th behind. Marquez is even closer. I'm not convinced on that. I don't think that's going to be enough. I think I'm going to try again. I'd like to get another run in just to make sure of it. And also, I've got another data pack to use, which is great, so... I didn't realise you get a data pack in every session, rather than... So, like, we're getting upgrades so fast up in here now. Okay. This is the one right here. The lap record's going down. Could have a bit of traffic coming up here, which could be a bit annoying. Don't know who that is up. I don't even know who that is up ahead of me. Tenth off my own best time through Sector 1. But it wasn't Sector 1 where I made up all the time. A little bit of a twitch there. We're 0.06 up. It's Pedrosa up ahead, I think. Here's where I'm going to make up the time. Whew. Look at that. 1.2 seconds up now. Just got to not botch this last corner. Might get a bit of a tough Pedrosa at the end as well. Just got to push a little bit harder and over the line. It's a 1:54.0. It is a new lap record. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how you do that. Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, it's over. It is over. That is your Vince Carter moment. And just like that, we decided to end the opposition. And that is time. What can I say? I'm a boss.
Second and final qualifying session. We can now see the makeup of the grid for tomorrow's Grand Prix.
Okay, here we go. It's an 8-lap race. From the front. And we're off. Good start from Marquez. Going side by side up into turn 1. Marquez trying to get the whole shot. He takes the ticket down the inside, then it'll be Marquez that takes the lead. Going through turn 1. Alright, Mark, I see how this is. I try and outbrake Marquez, but where am I going to get him? He's blocking those apexes quite nicely at the moment. Very heavy on the brakes there. Oh, Marquez coming back at us. Elbows out. Very scrappy opening exchange, but we've taken the lead back from Marquez. As we're halfway through this first lap of 8. I mean, roughly that means races should now be about 15 minutes long, ideally. This is where I'm at my strongest, right here, sector 3. Nicely done. Look at that, we've got a 1.1 second lead. We've gone full Lorenzo up in here. Full Lorenzo. Not that I'm complaining or anything. Oh, look at that. They're long gone back there. $212 miles an hour into that braking zone. Did you know Marc Marquez broke the all-time MotoGP speed record at this very place this season that's just gone by? He hit 350 kilometers an hour. That's 217 in old money, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, this is the fastest one stretch of track on the MotoGP calendar you'll get. I think even faster than Mugello, which tends to have that tradition. But the speed record was broken here. 350 clicks was seen for only the second time ever in MotoGP history. Whoa! Can you tell I'm still getting used to these bikes? No, don't worry, guys. There isn't any fancy camera tricks here. This really is me playing at simulation difficulty. Because apparently I can actually play a racing game at the highest difficulty and win. Who knew? Given that we have actually gone full Lorenzo and broken out this big lead, should we talk a little bit about some of the final grid slots being taken up next year? People have asked me about a few things. What to make of Sam Lowe's, first of all. It was confirmed this week that Sam Lowe's is going to Gresini next year to replace Xavier Simeon over there, and I must admit, it's a very clever deal for Sam Lowe's that he's been able to sort out his next 3 years in the class just like that. Gresini's a very good, established Moto2 team. Sam will finally be on a Calyx, which I think he's always wanted to do after Speed Up's been so inconsistent, shall we say, with him over the last season and a half or so. But there really isn't going to be an excuse for Sam next year. Like, we know what Sam is capable of now. He can win races at his best, and he's had 5 podiums this year. He isn't going to have an excuse next year. The problem is he's going up against Zarco again. And that's where the problem's going to be, because we all know Zarco is really good. Don't let the arrogant blip fool you. Zarco admitted himself he was just nervous on the day to win the title. He's going to his favourite track next in Motegi. So, yeah, that could be a problem. But, you know, it's clever that Sam's got his next 3 years lined up. He can ride without pressure and he can focus on just raising his game. Because, you know, the guy is immensely talented, and I know there's an easy Beck's Bike Live joke I can make here about Sam, but in all truth, he is exceptional. One of the fastest dudes in the class. It's just getting it down so that he doesn't have to crash every week. That's the problem. Also, I'm going to be curious to see what Simone Corsi does filling in at Speed Up, because I think Sam Lowe's alone, I think Speed Up owes him a lot, given that I think they will sell a few more chassis next year, given how good Sam Lowe's has been on one of them. So if they can find the right guy, Speed Up could easily have a bit more success next year. Although I'm not sure Simone Corsi is the guy for that. Corsi's a bit of a brute and a bit of an old man when it comes to this thing now. We'll have to wait and see how that holds up, though. Also, I am very, very glad that Loris Baz is getting a seat next year with Avintia, alongside Hector Barbera. So now Avintia is going to have the 2 best open class riders for next season, which is a great move for Avintia. They're going to be on GP 14.2s again this year, which is good to hear. And Baz has been excellent this year. I know he drew a lot of criticism last year for his time in World Superbikes about how he didn't give the team orders to help Tom Sykes win the title against Sylvain Gintoli. All I can say in response to that is well, you know, Baz was a little bit immature, but at the same time, you know, you don't have a divine right to listen to team orders. Ultimately, it's between you and what you want to do. And Baz has, you know, Baz had a lot of critics going into his time at MotoGP, and I'll be honest, I think a lot of people wanted Baz to fail for that very reason. I think a lot of people wanted to see Baz fail because of his World Superbike run, and because there was a lot of Tom Sykes fans that were, you know, really upset with the fact that Baz didn't yield, without realising that, you know, Baz giving team orders wouldn't have made a difference in the end anyway. But, you know, bitterness and all that. But Baz has come through and proven to be, he's learnt very quickly. He's very fast. He's impressed everybody, and even before the 4th place at Misano, he was fantastic. And one of the real surprises of the season for me. So well done, Loris, and I wish him the best at Avintia next year. It's a very good team to go to, and I wonder how we'll do on a faster bike, because that Ducati will definitely be faster than what they're on right now, which is the terrible forward Yamaha, which won't be here next year because of forward racing, changing bikes at best. At best, they'll change bikes. At worst, they won't be here anymore. But don't worry, Colombian viewers of mine, I know Yoni Hernandez is going to Aspar next year alongside Eugene Laverty. Nicky Hayden will be saying goodbye to the class. And apparently Aspar are going to Ducati next year as well. They're going to be on 14.2. So yeah, Ducati's getting a lot of money from being in this class next year, which is kind of crazy. Like half the field is going to be Ducatis. Like I wish I was joking when I was saying that, but I think it's going to be 10 Ducatis next year. The 2 from the factory boys, the 2 from the Pramac team, who are going to be on the factory bikes next year. So Redding's going to be on a GP16 or 15 point something. So yeah, that's a big deal for Scott. It makes Scott's Redding deal an even better one in theory. Which could be pretty sick. So you know, all that's good stuff. So yeah, there's going to be 2 there. There's going to be 2 for the Pramac team. There's going to be 2 for Avintia. There's going to be 2 for Aspar. So you're looking at, what, 8 bikes next year? 8 Ducatis? Yeesh, that's nearly half the field. Apparently even Iota are sticking around for another year. Apparently they're going to have an either they're going to stick with their terrible ART, or they're going to buy an Aprilia. Or they're going to use last year's Aprilia. Which wasn't a terrible bike, just not a very good one either. Because Aprilia are going to roll forth with their prototype next season. And also, the worst kept secret in MotoGP was also confirmed, as Tito Rabat is going to MotoGP next year with the Mark VDS team. Congratulations to Tito. I think it's well deserved. Tito is an excellent, excellent rider. He really is. I argue he's the guy in Moto2 that's probably most ready to be in MotoGP, given his consistency, his speed, his racecraft. I think Rabat is arguably the most complete rider out there, so it's overdue. I think it should have happened last year, but last year I don't think it quite fell into place for him in terms of getting a MotoGP bike, and I think the team was very high on Redding, but obviously that didn't work out. But that's a great move for Mark VDS. They're probably going to run a second bike next year. And I'm hearing talk it could be Jack Miller on the second bike, which is funny given how they almost fell out and came to blows last year. So yeah, that's all the MotoGP talk in a nutshell. Oh, also, Danny Kent going to Moto2 next year with Leopard, bringing his current crew with him. That's a pretty cool move. What a team, though. Danny Kent and Miguel Oliveira? Whew. What a team that is. Combined, they've won, what, 8 races this season? Nearly half, like over half the races this season have been won by that two as a combination, and they're both going to Moto2 next year together. That's a hell of a team. And I've said before, a lot of people sleep on Miguel Oliveira. Oliveira is a talented dude. Whoa, almost came off the bike there, yeesh. See, I'm talking while trying to ride a 220 mile an hour snarling 270 bhp bike. I'm taking liberties here. But, yeah, it's like it's a situation where people forget, in the CEV Championship, Oliveira beat Maverick Vinales. Sure, there are only 15 and 17 at the time, but Miguel can go. This season, I always knew Oliveira would be a title contender this year. It's a shame it's not really worked out for him overall. The injury, the times he was taken out. He's been very unlucky this season to have not been a prime title contender. I think if he stuck around for one more year, I think he'd have been #1 threat for the title with Red Bull KTM. But again, the opportunity was there. Why not take it? I think Oliveira's ready, and you know, I think he will do well next year. I think he's a very, very talented dude, and I think he will do well with them up there. I'm looking forward to seeing the guys. You know, a lot of people are on the Danny Kent wagon. That's a tough test for Danny Kent. Like, I do generally think the Hondas have been a little bit better than the KTMs this year. So, on the whole, I think that's going to be a tough test for Danny to get to grips with. He is no joke. Look at that, I just did a 1:53.6. I out-qualified my pole time. I am on fire right now. And to be fair, the 8 laps have gone pretty quickly. Like, I think it's going to be harder at the tracks I don't like Aragon and Argentina. I think that's where I'm going to start having issues, but this has been a near perfect race. A little bit of early problems at the start with Marquez, but besides that, we were gone very quickly. And this Yamaha is a joy. It's still a little bit ragged, but it's smooth. I might have to be deceptive in the title, saying, oh my god, best race ever, when it was like a typical Lorenzo win in that regard. You know, qualify on pole, lead from the front, nobody can catch him. And I'll talk more about that in the next episode, because we kind of missed Aragon in the meantime, and Aragon was kind of an okay weekend, but nothing particularly special outside of Moto 3, which is kind of become a bit of a pattern when Lorenzo's been this good. There's actually quite a lot to talk about from Aragon, which I will get around to that next time, I promise, at Kota, which is round 2. Yeah, coming up towards the last corner now. I'm surprised this really was a walk in the park, so to speak. Easy victory in the end. Whew. First MotoGP win. Wow. And we won by 14 seconds. I mean, what can you do? It's simulation difficulty. There wasn't much I could do about that. That was just dominance. Start to finish. Can't complain. But yeah, obviously, championship standings. We take the lead by 5 points over Lorenzo, then Marquez. Dovi beating Rossi for 4th. That's interesting. Iannone in 6th, Pedrosa 7th, Crutchlow 8th, Smith 9th, Alicia Spagaro 10th, his brother 11th, Vinales 12th, Hernandez 13th, Redding 14th, and Barbara gets the last point and top open class runner in 15th. Yay! We look the 2001 Repsol Honda. Nice. And we get 98,000 credits. Nice.
This was an excellent day.
Yes, first victory.
Winning on this track, today's victory also gets him 25 all-important points for the championship.
That was awesome. And alarmingly straightforward. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed the new format. Hopefully it will come together quite nicely in the end. And until next time, I've been Harrison101. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Sayonara.